Hello and welcome to my world. I'm of course Fredcast, and as you know, 7 nights a week I stream live over on Twitch, playing a variety of video games. The link to my Twitch channel can be found in the description below. On Monday of this particular week, I finally got around to playing Portal, the first-person puzzle platformer that was released in 2007 by Valve. The game was released on Windows, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Mac, Linux, and you can even play it on your Android smartphone. Portal is, without question, everywhere. Now, what prompted me to play this game finally for the first time in my gaming career? Well, it was highly recommended at the right moment when I was trying to figure out last week what game I was going to make the next campaign game. What was going to be something that I could dedicate a night or two or three to, and it turned out the right person, Kalinal, another Twitch streamer, recommended, asking us like what stuff have I played and what I didn't. As she asked, "Have you ever played Portal?" I said, "No." "Okay, play that." And then, okay, there you go. Right person recommends it at the right time. It's like, okay. And having looked into some details on it to give an idea of like how long it would take me, seeing that it typically takes the average person to play to finish it in 3 hours. Okay, it turned out to be a one-night stream game. And that was a night well spent as far as I'm concerned. It took me 4 hours, a little over 4 hours to beat Portal. And that stream can be found here on YouTube. I did port it over from Twitch. And up until I want to say test chamber 15, 16, about that point when the turrets are introduced to give for whatever ungodly reason that GLaDOS had in mind. I had a really easy going with it for the most part. Portal is very similar to another game I played that came out after Portal, called the Turing Test. The Turing Test was released by Square Enix, and that was one of the first games I streamed on Twitch back in, I want to say, yeah, somewhere in early mid 2017, where you basically going room for room with an AI, basically telling you what to do. Well, it's also being the antagonist, which is kind of unique there. I think the Turing test, more and more I think about it at this exact moment, at the time of this recording, took a lot from Portal, and with the exception of the Portal gun, which really would have came useful in that game. Anyways, getting back to Portal, uh, difficulty-wise, up until the turrets are introduced, the game is pretty easy in terms of logic puzzles, getting from point A to point B, getting a box, the move from one room where there is no normal way out, or getting it up to a higher ledge and using momentum to jump over or high walls or through seemingly impossible barriers. Uh, it definitely forces a player to think outside the box, and I didn't really need a guide until the late game. I want to say about test chamber 17, 18 is when I had to go and use GameFAQs and see the walkthrough to get an idea of what to do, but more importantly, where to go. Because once you get through test chamber 19, you're basically roaming the installation, and they're in a full-on maze, which was amazing. And that became a little question of like, where am I supposed to go? Because it wasn't always clear. At least from my point of view, it wasn't always clear. And the portal gun doesn't really work on every surface. So that really forced a lot of thinking, and thank goodness there were some, again, guides available to help me figure out my way on what to do, because a text guide is only so helpful. It can give you an indication of where to look, but not always a true representation of what to do. But still, those were helpful in finishing this game. Now, I think it has to be said that GLaDOS is the real star of the show. Of course, you play Chell, the silent protagonist, but GLaDOS is the one who has all the dialogue. GLaDOS is the one who has all the personality. GLaDOS is the one that really makes you feel bad about breaking her heart, destroying her at the end of the game. And GLaDOS is the one who actually made you a cake, which goes without saying. Yes, the cake is not a lie. The cake was there, and it's like, you see the candle snuff out. It's like, damn, GLaDOS was telling the truth. She did make a cake for us. Which actually raises a question on how she did it, and what was in it. It was a chocolate cake, but it does raise a question of how she did it and what was in it. As you can just see, plummeting to one's death was something that occurred quite a lot for me while playing this. A lot of it was due to my own stupidity, for lack of a better term. But for the most part, it really came down to experimenting of like, okay, how to get around certain things, how to get to certain platforms. And even with a guide, it really came down to figuring out, finding the right spots on aiming one portal in one spot, another portal in another spot, and using just a good amount of brain power to figure things out. I'm trying to think of some of the more notorious puzzles in this game, one of which was a room where you basically had to go up that had a pool of the toxic water at the very bottom, and you had to go up. You had through the first portal onto a platform, into another one into a pit that was to the left. Jump into the pit through that portal, shoot up through the first portal, and then quickly shoot another portal onto a higher platform. Drop through the one that was on the platform, on the first platform, shoot up through the portal on the second platform, and then throw a portal onto the third platform, and kept going up. That was a pain in the tuchus to figure out, even with a guy notating, okay, you do this and this, but getting the timing and everything down right, and fighting the urge to move or land on a platform, and just hoping that you end up being in the right spot where you can turn just enough to give yourself the ability to get up to the next to the next ledge. That puzzle in and of itself can go straight to hell as far as I'm concerned. There was another one similar to it, but it wasn't as bad in terms of, I think, of just timing of getting across a room quickly, because what you needed to launch yourself would close quickly, because it was a room that had large room, but you had to go across it. You had to use a platform to move you from one side of the room to the other. Activate a switch, throw a portal to get yourself to carry you. Throw one portal on a wall, and then activate a switch. Toss the portal through onto a angled platform and jump and go through one portal in order to launch yourself to another one, and to get you into a position to place another portal where you can go up and get a companion cube. That took quite a bit. Not to mention, just to figure out the proper positioning and everything, involved trying to get into a little bitty little stand that had a button on it, where you could press to open up a little doorway where you can activate a little power source to move the moving platform that made all of that possible. As you see me here, taking out turrets the very wrong way using a barrel and getting myself shot at quite repeatedly. The ending song where GLaDOS basically tells you she ain't mad, she's still alive, but she ain't mad that when you dead that she'll be still alive and so forth, was really nice, and it, in my opinion, really is what cements GLaDOS as a memorable character. There is a reason why in my mind, why she ends up being on your side for more or less in Portal 2, because I have seen enough game footage and stuff to know that she is turned into a potato. But that she's on your side where, okay, have you and her on the same team for a period of time is certainly awesome. And why she was used in Telltale Games Poker Night at the Inventory 2, overseeing the poker game and just basically expressing what everyone thinks about Claptrap, and that she wants to see that little bucket of bolts wrecked in the worst way possible. Still, all thoughts and all joking aside here, as I bring this rambling video of my thoughts on Portal to a close, I do see why this game was a cult classic, why people highly recommend it, that everybody plays it and finishes it. And I totally agree. I highly recommend that folks go ahead and check Portal out. With it being on multiple platforms, there is no excuse not to play it, except maybe not being able to set aside time just to give it a whirl, and probably get it pretty cheap incredibly cheap over on Steam, since it is a game that was developed and released by Valve. So, and it's another reason why people have been wanting Half-Life 3, because Valve do make excellent games when they actually put the time in. So with that said, my friends, and you are my friends, thank you for watching. If you have your own thoughts on Portal, leave them in the comment section below. Tighten your friendship bracelets, watch your hang down, and we'll see you next week for another commentary video.